All right, guys, let's have a real professional show. Let's not talk over each other. Let's not have a bunch of inside jokes that people aren't going to get. Let's not be hurtful to the fans. Let's make it real professional. Let's make this a warm, inviting place that everybody will want to, come and enjoy a nice podcast. So let's focus on that this episode. I know we can do it. All right, I'll give you a couple seconds, and then I'll hit you with an intro. All right, here we go.
You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Hello, idiots. It's the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. So deal with it. Now listen, before you get your undies in a bundle here, I say idiots in the same way that Chris Jericho calls spectators at a WWE or an AEW show stupid idiots. He doesn't really mean it. It's just a shtick because it's a program. It's a show. Same thing here. This is a show. It's a podcast. This isn't a docuseries. It's not real life. It's a cast of characters talking about stuff, making jokes, trying to have a good time. So get the sand out of your vagina and learn the difference between a joke and reality. 95% of the things on this show is a joke. If you question whether or not it's a joke or reality, always side on the side of a joke. Let's set those expectations now so you don't get your diaper all dirty and, they made a joke about this, or they called the listeners that, or someone said idiots, or blah, 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 blah. Wipe the tears away and understand that it's a joke. Settle the fuck down. I don't care about you. This is the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. We got a shit ton of stuff to talk about. I'm very angry because, once again, everybody on Facebook is a fucking COVID expert. There are so many doctors in this state, so many infectious disease experts. This should have been cured years ago before it even broke out. WWE is firing people en masse because, don't go to work. Stay home. Don't spread the shit. Well, businesses are going under. What the fuck do you think is going to happen? Speaking of businesses that are going under, this episode of Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast is brought to you by the Casual Gaming Dad and Sean Tischler's IWC show. That's not gonna happen. Everybody calm down. We like Sean Tischler. He's great. We like the Casual Gaming Dad. He's great. It's a show. I'm not going to explain this in every episode. It's a show. We're just kidding. We're joking about. We're having a good time. Calm down. Beef the Legend. Tiger Bomb Tom's joining us later. The best damn cruiserweight champ there ever was. Poot the Bard. We're all in attendance. It's going to be a dumpster fire of a show. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
What happened? What did you do?
Nothing. I'm just so proud of the Advocate. I couldn't be more proud of an Advocate than, and no one's more proud. I'm just so proud.
I feel like there are some people that aren't based in reality who need to just be slapped in the face with a little bit of truth. Like, hey, calm the fuck down. It'll be fine. We're joking around. It's cool. Everybody's having a good time. It's a show. This is not based in reality. We're four dum-dums talking about a fake sport. Ease up. Relax.
I think Ransom has moments of clarity where he, channels the, I don't know, man, like the underbelly of, everybody in the world who, sees the same post on Facebook about 3 times too many, and they just kind of go, all right, okay. And Ransom has somehow, channeled into it like a stream of Mako from Final Fantasy series. He's just imbibing it and turning it into, radioactive fire.
I'm telling you, I can't do it anymore. I can't. I don't know when we became a society where everything is taken so literal and so seriously. Everything's become so PC. Oh, I don't have time for it. 99.9% of the things that come out of my mouth on a daily basis are either sarcasm or a joke. I can't do this literal stuff. I can't do it. Can't do it. Howard Finkel passed away.
Oh,
that is a very serious and fucking very sad thing that's happening.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, serious is all in the eye of the beholder.
That's true.
All in the eye of the beholder. Because the first thing that I thought of today when the Fink passed away was how he's up in the good Lord's gates talking about his wiener.
Yeah.
And he's not going to get in because all he's talking about is his bald mustache dong. First thing that came to my mind was a joke. Sorry, that's just the way things are. That's the way that some people live their lives.
I feel like that's healthy, though. I do. I feel like that's absolutely healthy. I feel like
I mean, everybody copes. Everybody copes with things differently. That is true. You know, there are people whose parents pass away that they don't shed a single tear. They laugh about it, or they laugh it off. You know, when the good Lord takes my soul, I expect you all to have a nice big wake and have a good time, because even though your buddy Beef is gone, his spirit and happiness will live on forever.
I won't be able to be there because when I hear that you go, the first thing out of my mouth is going to go, holy shit, it took this long?
That's a fair point.
Like, I'm not going to be able to be there because everybody's going to be so sad and so depressed. I miss the love. Yeah,
that's why you need to be there. But guess what?
I'm going to be making inappropriate jokes all night long.
That's why you need to be there, to keep the...
No, your mother and your wife will kick me out.
No. Well,
they won't have any of it.
Brittany won't care.
Because I'll probably dress up like you, too.
She'll defend you. Do it.
Oh, my
I'll tell
God.
you, like you were in college. Long hair in the ponytail.
Oh, my God.
If you do not come to my wake as a edifice of me, as
caricature?
Yes, then I will be sad. I mean, I'll be dead. But the ghost of Beef will be... anyway, it's a sad... unfortunate news.
That's a good one, Ransom.
Oh dear.
About the Fink. He
did it say what caused it? Did he COVID out?
No. He's been in poor health for the last several years. So if anything, it's kind of a merciful thing. I mean, this dude, like Michael Buffer is to boxing, or Bruce Buffer is to UFC, as the Fink is to WWE. Like, he is the voice, the ring announcer of a generation.
I would even go so far as to say of wrestling, because I can't recall anyone in any other organization or or group or whatever, what have you, that we go like, oh yeah, that guy. Like there's a lot of announcers that we go, oh, they introduced that one wrestler really well. Fink introduced everybody like they were the biggest deal on the fucking planet.
The only one I can think of is Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
The Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy from WCW.
Yep, and that's what I'm saying. Like, when somebody posted, and I forget who it was, but they said that, I think it was just a generic WWE post that said Howard Finkel is the official voice of the WWE network, and that could not be that could not be that is 100% true. Because whenever you go back and you watch the classic stuff, man, like, he's got that voice. And I mean, yeah, like, maybe he wasn't there during the Attitude Era, maybe he hasn't been there lately, but like all the classic stuff, man, that's all Fink. And you're 100% right, Poot. He made them He made them feel like $1 million, dude. Even if it was fucking like
Barry Horowitz.
The Twin Towers versus the Strike Force. He made it seem like it was a huge, like, monumental deal. So,
and the thing is, it's the same thing that happens with singers. You know what I mean? Like, when you hear Willie Nelson, you know it's Willie Nelson. When you hear James Hetfield, you know it's James Hetfield. It's the same thing. With that was the best Hetfield impression ever. Right. James, welcome to the podcast. I'm glad you could be here. Yeah.
Podcast Pittsburgh.
Oh, the new album sounds great.
Oh man, you definitely need to fucking timestamp that and clip that for, like, intros. Pittsburgh podcast.
Do it.
No, that and that's the thing, though. It's like, seriously, like, when you heard him, you knew it was Howard Finkel. You know what I mean? It's that instant recognizable quality. And like I said, reiterating again, I said, Beef said, and Rand said, they felt like a big deal. You know what I mean? I won't even try and do an impression of him, but like, you know, him saying like,
No, I couldn't impress the Fink.
No, like, you know, and it really is a sad day because like we're seeing a lot of that iconic generation passing away.
Well,
and who would have thought?
Lex Luger.
Who would have thought that? Well, who would have thought that Ric Flair would outlive the Fink?
I think
that's. Oh my gosh.
Here's what I think. I think that Charlotte Flair is harvesting her father's like vitality and his organs to make herself redeemingly like brand new. Because if you look at what Charlotte Flair has been the last 5 years and what Ric Flair has declined in the last 5 years, it's very clear that there's like a give and take there. So like I think that she's like keeping him alive in like a hyperbolic chamber to like continue to just sap off the Flair, and once he's gone, she's just gonna be, I mean, even worse than she is now.
She's sucking out all the woo.
Well, speaking of sucking out all the woo, apparently it's being thrown around, and to much of Beef's chagrin, that Charlotte Flair is being called Miss WrestleMania.
Ah, yes. That's not where I thought you were going with that, but yeah, that's a good segue as well.
Okay.
Did I say I wanted to talk about that? Because I definitely do.
You did.
You did.
Good. And so I have my puke bucket at my side.
Gross.
But I gotta say, man, it's true. Like, as much as Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania, I think Charlotte Flair is very much Miss WrestleMania. Now, let's quantify things.
Oh.
She is on a pedestal that she didn't deserve to be on. Through no fault or glory of her own, she's a Flair. And that precludes someone like Sasha or Bayley or Becky, who they're all great. And I think Charlotte, I am the first one to fucking, diss on Charlotte. Because I'm fucking sick of her face. It's the John Cena effect. Although she keeps changing her face, so maybe I'll get less sick of it as it changes.
Fair point.
But she. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about Charlotte. She has worked hard, and like if you look back at what she was when she was in NXT the first time, like what she is now is light years difference. Whereas Banks and Bayley and Becky all had like a smaller hill to climb to get to greatness because they all started pretty great. Charlotte was way below them, and I think that she is pretty much at their level now, ish. Wrestling wise, character wise, I think that she's probably a little bit beyond them. And not
to interrupt you, but like she has a built-in character, like inherently in her DNA. Just even growing up around her father, she has that it factor where it's no. Hear me out.
No, hold on. No, I'm making a joke. Let's not say if she grew up around her father, because let's be honest. I mean, Rick probably wasn't there too often.
I really need to get a sound effect board and put it together so I can get like
Ransom sound effects 101.
Yeah, that's the thing though. But like because that relationship is there, we'll put it. How about that? That relationship is there. She has that X factor of just you hate her. Like it's easy. She has that confidence and that swagger that's believable, and she can go out there and play face, but she's a way better heel. Way better heel.
Here's what's irrefutable about Charlotte Flair. At WrestleMania 32, she probably had the match of the night. With Sasha and with Becky, yes. But it was probably the match of the night. At WrestleMania 34, she had a really good match with Asuka. Did it dampen everything whenever she beat Asuka and ended Asuka's streak? Yes, it did. But it was still a very, very, very good match. At WrestleMania 36, she probably had the best in-ring match of the entire card. And I'm talking like it ain't even close. So, and yes, it's all about dance partners too. But, I mean, if you could say at 3 separate WrestleManias that she main evented WrestleMania 35, so there's that. But if you can say at 4 WrestleManias she made a big impact or had a match of the night, that's saying something, man.
How much of that though is just by dint of right place, right time? Because all those kind of things, it was by design. Those like the women main eventing WrestleMania, those kind of things. It was by design, but it was also like just right place, right time. Because honestly,
and that's where she had that's where she had the leg up on everybody. Because even though Sasha and Bayley have, I think, better in-ring talents, Charlotte's been given more chances, and at the end of the day, yes, that definitely does matter. But at the same time, so was Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was put in, great position after great position after great position, and especially towards the beginning of him getting over as a main event guy, it was but a large part of it could have been because of the backstage pull.
The problem with this conversation, though, is naturally we're going to drift to the point of equating Charlotte Flair and Shawn Michaels. And to me, that's an issue because could you argue, and is the argument very strong for Charlotte being called Miss WrestleMania right now? Absolutely. However, when you put them side by side, I'm sorry, there's no contest. Shawn Michaels is it.
Ransom?
I wanted to get all of the hate and vitriol out at the beginning of the show and have it be fun. But then you have to go and talk about this abomination.
Oh, boy.
Here's the thing.
Oh, steal my line even. Oh, boy. Go ahead.
Yes. Strap in. If you're going to give her the moniker of Miss WrestleMania, you know what you're doing. You're comparing her or putting her in the same category as Mr. WrestleMania. And this is not about gender. Bottom line. It's not. Charlotte Flair, on her best day, cannot hold a candle to Shawn Michaels on his worst day. And it's been said by multiple people, best in-ring performer ever, Shawn Michaels. Stone Cold has said it. Ric Flair has said it. Many, many other people have said it. Best in-ring performer of all time, Shawn Michaels. Again, it's been said, you could put Shawn Michaels in a ring with a broom, and he could wrestle a broom for a half an hour, and it would be a 5-star match. I truly and wholeheartedly believe that Charlotte Flair's success is based upon the opponent she's in there with. If you put Charlotte Flair in the ring with Maria Kanellis, Kelly, any of those non-wrestling divas, not women's wrestlers, divas, Charlotte Flair's going to look like a trash fire. She's not going to have a 5-star match. It all is based upon who she's in there with. Is she good? Yes. But she's nowhere near Shawn Michaels. And I don't like the moniker of Miss WrestleMania. Why? Why do you have to figure something else out? There's already a Mr. WrestleMania. Can't you figure out something for her? A moniker that hasn't been already bestowed upon somebody except from a different gender? Miss WrestleMania? No. Great women's wrestler? Yes.
As it stands now with women with women in wrestling, and how now they're being taken seriously, and you're seeing the true ability that they can, where they're not just shoved into evening gown matches and mud wrestling jiggery pokery. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing true ability. I mean, like Beef said, giving all the credit in the world to Sasha Banks, Bailey, Becky, and even oh my God, what is wrong? Man, I had a long day. I got all my anger and hate out working on guitars today. I threw a fit. I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was bad. So I'm kind of tired. My energy was spent. But when you look at like Rhea Ripley, like, you know, she has that feel of like China. You know what I mean? That kind of brute. Like that style of where it's like she's very brutal. And I think Charlotte, though, in this time frame, with as things are developing right now, yes, you could call her Miss WrestleMania, but she needs more time to really be given that moniker, because Shawn Michaels wasn't called that. Really
until
called
about
that
WrestleMania 21.
Yeah, until his return. And when he started delivering and telling stories like the Ric Flair retirement match. You know what I mean? That moniker didn't really, you know, get used on a regular basis.
When people ask me for Shawn Michaels' best WrestleMania match, I mean, Kurt Angle's pretty fucking good. But I mean, the match with Jericho might be even a little bit better. WrestleMania 19.
Yeah, man.
There is such a great story in that ring that they're telling, and I mean, I agree. First of all, Charlotte changed her Twitter handle to Miss WrestleMania, so you can't just bestow that title on yourself. You can't just be like, "I'm Miss WrestleMania." No, somebody else has to do it for you. But I was definitely gonna mention that there, Poot, is that Michaels. Let's not forget. I think he wrestled at WrestleMania 6 or 7 as part of the Rockers.
Oh,
and maybe
yeah,
even 5. And like, he did not gain the title. They didn't really start calling him that until about WrestleMania 21. That was the first time I remember that coming up. So we're talking, 10 plus years. If Charlotte has this kind of last and this kind of effect on the women's division for 10 years, which I believe is going to be the case, if nothing else, because her last name is Flair.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think that she could earn that title. But again, you cannot self-appoint yourself that. You want to call yourself the queen? That's fine, but you cannot anoint yourself that, because you are. And you know what? It's probably to get heat, because she's smart. She knows how to work the crowd, and she knows how to get heat. So I mean, I guarantee you that she's thinking, if I change my Twitter handle to Miss WrestleMania, it's going to piss off all those smarks who call HBK Mr. WrestleMania, and it's going to get them all 100% triggered. And most of us are booing her anyway, but I mean, I get it. So much in the lane of Ronda Rousey's recent comments, I think it's a work. I think it's it's a work, and we're all just being worked. So it's an interesting discussion to have. Do I think that out of the 4 horsemen, do I think that she's the most worthy of the title, Miss WrestleMania? I don't. In fact, I think that she's probably the least worthy. I think that the other 3 should be in that spot, but we are where we are.
If she wasn't a Flair, if her last name was Jones, and she wrestled under the name Ashley Jones, didn't have the robe gimmick, didn't have the woo, didn't have the 2001 A Space Odyssey as part of her theme, if she didn't have the family legacy to fall back on, I think at this point in time in her career, she'd be a mid-card women's wrestler at best.
She's busted her ass. Here's what I'll say about Charlotte, and circling back around. She was dog shit in NXT, and I will say that Becky Lynch has worked the hardest on her character, because the character that she got was cool, but she made it evolve into something that was, fire. Charlotte, I think, has worked as hard, if not harder, in the ring to sharpen her skills and really become someone who, yeah, again, I get it. It's a dance and it takes two partners, but I think that she to me, Charlotte's come a long way, and I and I feel like I'm kind of coming around on the same the same Baszler curve, where it's like it's gone on long enough that I'm starting to appreciate it a little bit. I might just be ahead of the curve. I don't know.
I mean, we could sit here and go round and round and round about seriously about this for God knows how long. But I think
you guys want to talk about the Rousey comments real quick?
I do, but I just wanted to kind of close out with this idea that I feel like Charlotte, given more work, because we've seen how she's improved and put in the time. And again, we're all admitting she's put in the time and gotten better. If she keeps doing that and she keeps having the work rate that she does and it gets better and better and better, then yeah, she will be worthy of that title one day. But having it just be heat, it cheapens it if it eventually becomes fact.
That is true.
So, but yeah, talk about Beef. Lay those Rousey comments on us.
Oh boy. It boils down to Ronda Rousey saying that wrestling is fake and it's fake fighting, and basically that she basically making a mockery of what she did in WWE, and everybody is being is getting butthurt about it. All the wrestling fans are saying, "Oh, her of all people shouldn't be saying this." Blah 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 blah. Because she really was handed,
the keys,
everything
to
on a silver
kingdom.
platter. Yeah, man. Here's the quote: "Having fake fights for fun is just the best thing." So I really believe that it's a work. She's going to come back. I think that she was slated to come back at WrestleMania and probably take out either Baszler or Becky, whoever was supposed to win the match. And obviously, they don't want to have her big return be in front of, the 5 people working camera. So they're slow burning it a little bit. But it's 100% a work because they don't want her to come back and everybody be like, "Oh my God, Ronda Rousey's back, yay!" They want the wrestling fans to remember the bitch Ronda Rousey that was before WrestleMania 35, who was getting her hair done and her nails done like a fucking actress on a couch, and like fucking like just being like a snap bitch to Becky Lynch. They want wrestling fans to channel that anger. So I think it's 100% a work. And if it's not, she's a piece of shit.
Oh.
But I think it's a work.
It has to be a work because I can't believe with how highly she spoke of and the relationship, whether how brief it may be, that she had with Roddy Piper. I can't believe that this is not a work. And somewhere, because it more than likely is a work, somewhere Roddy Piper is grinning ear to ear. You know it.
Oh my God, yeah. And the other thing is, like, before this, she spoke glowingly of her time. She enjoyed it, and I think so. As with all good work shoot angles, there has to be a nugget of truth in there somewhere. I think that she probably gets tired of people comparing WWE and UFC, or trying to compare her tenure with WWE and UFC, because they are two completely separate animals. Even though they both kind of had the same trajectory, albeit WWE kind of crashed a little bit quicker for her. But I think it's probably a nugget of truth in that. But as we've said before, I think all good heels that get great heat have that little nugget of truth that grows into a giant spruce tree.
Agreed. Ransom?
It's a work. 100%.
And I mean that. I can't believe with what they did for her and everything. Yeah, it just no. she would have to be literally the world's biggest piece of shit to have that happen. Seriously.
They put a fucking like Django Fett jetpack on her back, complete with a crash at the end. Like, sorry, buddy. Like they pushed her to the fucking moon in a year. So I think her first match was a title match, and she lost by DQ. And then I think her like second or third match was like her winning the title. And then like the end of her first year. No, I'm sorry, her first match was at WrestleMania. But by the end of her first year, she was main eventing WrestleMania. I mean, there's no way that that this is not a work. I'm sorry, but if you believe that these and you have people like Booker T who are coming out and like, you know, slamming her for it. I wonder if he's not either in on the gag or understands that it's a work and he's just feeding into it.
I'm sure a lot of these people are playing along. A lot of the people involved in the business who are speaking about it, I'm sure they know exactly what's happening. Booker T is no dummy. He's very smart when it comes to wrestling. He knows exactly what she's doing.
He's got that shucky ducky intelligence.
Because he would have done the same thing. Look at what a massive, successful heel the Booker T character was. When he was a heel, King Booker probably had more heat than I've seen a wrestler take in such a long time. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew exactly what needed to be done to get that heat. So he's no dummy. He knows what she's doing. And I don't know what negative experience she could talk about in WWE. When she came in, they pushed her to the moon. She was a face the whole time. The crowd always cheered her. She never was put into that John Cena category. She never had that John Cena effect where it's like, oh, they're pushing Rousey, we're going to boo her.
That's not true.
Oh,
that's not true. No, they turned on her pretty quick because she was very talkative in the ring. She was always jawing at the mouth about something in the ring. And so the crowd turned on her pretty quick, especially once Becky started catching fire. Like it was basically because she beat I want to say she beat Alexa Bliss for the title at SummerSlam 2 years ago, which is the same night that Becky versus Charlotte happened, which was the double turn that really put Becky on fucking the next level, on like the Stone Cold trajectory. So like that I think night was like the crux of everything. And when people saw, oh hey, there's this awesome new woman character I could really cheer for, as opposed to this bland, UFC fighter who couldn't hack it in UFC anymore. I think that that it quickly the tides turned, as it were. So
speaking of tides that are turning, Tiger Bomb Tom has arrived.
What's up? Sorry about that.
Boo.
I cheer your arrival, sir. I applaud it.
Yay, we love you, Tom.
Well, at least somebody does.
I've had enough.
I thought Pooh was booing your arrival, and I was going to jump on board. Boo, boo. I'm kidding, Tom.
No,
don't listen to these idiots, Tom. They don't know.
No, man.
They don't know. Hey, listen, I've had enough of Ronda Rousey. And Vince McMahon has had not having all the money and has fired a bunch of people.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That hasn't already come up yet?
No.
No.
I figured I was personally kind of saving it until you got here, Tom.
Oh,
he's here. We're rolling it.
I'm pulling up a list so we can actually run down a list.
Yeah.
Pooh will run down the list. I'm not.
Add your say your piece, and I'll look up a bulleted list.
Yes.
I got that list the Beef sent us.
I think there's even more to it now.
Okay.
So I'm not
Oh, go ahead. Go.
Poor him, money. I'm not surprised at this in the slightest. WWE can't be making money hand over fist right now. They have no live shows. They're not going to arenas and selling out. They, just like everybody else, have to be taking a massive hit to the bank account. And I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. What do you think? What did you think was going to happen?
Right.
COVID outbreak. Everybody has to stay home. people weren't going out to WWE events, just like any other business out there, yeah, there's going to be layoffs because Vince McMahon can't afford to keep all these people employed and at the same time turn a profit.
I got a question for you on that, though. Now look at it on the flip side of things with AEW. Do you think the reason we haven't seen anything like this, like any sort of layoffs and stuff from AEW, is because they only operate like the one night a week, so they don't have like all this other all these other things that they have to hemorrhage money on, like, you know, a Monday night show, a Friday night show, a Wednesday night show, and this and that? Or like what do you think is the main difference why WWE had to go this route and we haven't seen this yet, at least from AEW? Do you think that they might suffer the same fate?
I don't know that AEW has the amount of employees that WWE has.
Plus,
I don't
Tony
know.
Khan has much more money. Tony Khan has much more money than Vince McMahon.
That's the second point. Tony Khan has a lot more money and can afford to say, hey, you know what? We're not making money hand over fist. I'm loyal to my guys. I believe in my guys. I believe in who we have working here. So we're going to keep paying you because this is temporary, and they can afford to do it.
Right.
And I'm also willing to bet that AEW doesn't have anywhere near the employee base that WWE has.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely not. Go ahead.
Plus, Vince had to eat a shit sandwich on Monday when the XFL had to declare for bankruptcy because they literally lost money hand over foot by not having the last 6 games of the season. Same thing with the Cons. If the NFL needs to have empty arena games this year with the Jaguars, maybe. You know, maybe the Cons start hemorrhaging money too, and then AEW could be in the same position, but we'll see.
Let me speaking of Vince real quick, and I want to ask, did anybody else see this? I don't want to dive too far into politics or anything, but did you see something about saying Trump has named Vince McMahon as an advisory group member to help reopen the United States economy?
No, I'm gonna pop off on this real quick. Tara and I talked about this before we started this podcast tonight, and as much as we tout Vince McMahon as being a crazy old psychopath, I still truly believe he's a smart businessman. And
I do too.
The way and the proof is in the pudding on that, in the fact that Beef has said it before. When this Corona thing hit, not one sports-related thing remained. All sports were shut down. Now, granted, professional wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, it's sport, yes, different category than football, baseball, hockey, soccer, what have you. But it's still in that sports hemisphere. Excuse me. Hemisphere might not be the right word. It's still in that sports aura. Vince was the only sport still operating, I guess, outside of AEW. And let's not forget that he somehow has managed to get granted essential status by the state of Florida. WWE is an essential business, so he is able to continue operating.
Well, there's a whole big thread of kind of how that happened. And
regardless of how it happened, it happened. So business-wise, all you want, they're still operating.
I'm gonna put in the subtitles incredulous grunt.
Yeah. So I think it's a smart move because Vince knows business. He's not the greatest businessman out there, not by a long shot, but he's well and far ahead of of a lot of people.
I think,
and with him being the only sports game in town, essentially.
I think it's because he's literally, and not trying to make another pun like the tout thing, but he's a lot more ruthless. Like he does not give a fuck what anyone thinks about him. He will keep doing what he wants to do, and he will do everything that he thinks is best, whether by hook or by crook, or who goes down in the process.
And I think that's what they have. They have that in common with Trump. He has that in common with Trump. Trump doesn't shut up. Trump doesn't give a shit about what anybody else thinks. That much is very clear. He doesn't. He's going to do what he thinks is right and what he thinks is best, just like Vince McMahon. They're two peas in a pod. They don't care what the general consensus is. They don't care what people say about them on social media. They could give two shits less.
The other part of this is that
know business.
The other part of this is that Vince is merely a chip in the cookie. When you have big wigs like Roger Goodell, Bob Kraft, Gary Bettman, Bud Selig, commissioners of major sports. And again, I'm not trying to demean WWE, but when you have like the big, the big hitters in there, if Roger Goodell says one thing and Vince McMahon says the other, I mean, honestly, like if you look at me, I'm going to agree with Roger Goodell 100 times out of 100. Yes. Because of the merit of his business versus Vince's business. Yes, both are successful businessmen, but, the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar operation, hundreds of billions of dollars year in, year out. Vince McMahon, he's worth a couple million. Probably. Well,
that's why Vince is an advisor in it. It's why, he's part of the cog. He's not the captain driving the ship. So he's part of it. But Trump has many other smart businessmen who are much more wealthy and have made much better business decisions than Vince. And, that's why it's not Trump and Vince doing this. Trump has a board of people, or a group of people that are working with him.
And the thing that, to follow up on that, the thing that was sent to me was that, but then it said down at the bottom, note, McMahon's XFL literally filed for bankruptcy 3 days ago. And I'm like, I get the irony of that, but there's plenty of successful business people that have at one time or another filed for bankruptcy.
The thing that people forget is there's a different
credit to where credit is. Go ahead.
Make no response. I'm going to speak from a position right here of knowing what I'm talking about. Make no mistake. This XFL folding is not the same as the last XFL folding.
Oh,
this XFL was successful. It was an enjoyment to watch. And it was a really great product. The only reason it's folding is because it's a brand new business that was counting on tens of millions of dollars from fan revenue and game revenue that because of this virus outbreak, it could not, count on, and therefore took a heavy loss in its first season.
Let's not count out the fact, too, that just because you have a business that folds or a business that declares bankruptcy doesn't mean that you're a bad businessman or bad businesswoman, bad business person. That doesn't matter. Credit to where credit is due. A lot of people jumped on the bandwagon when Trump got elected of, well, look how many businesses Trump has declared bankruptcy on. Look how many of his businesses failed, blah, blah, blah. Well, sure. Look how many of his businesses have succeeded. Just, go with that.
I'm gonna take a step away from the politics side of things, and I'm going to say that speaking of businesses and people that are going to have to kind of bounce back, let's talk about the list of people that were released. I will start with wrestlers and beef if you want to bat some cleanup with backstage people.
So I don't think we need to mention the backstage people because word is that they're furloughed.
They're furloughed?
They'll be back.
Okay.
So guys like Kidman and Storm and Finley, they'll be back in a couple of months.
Okay.
But these talents who are released, they gone.
I'm gonna get a gavel because go on.
Learn how to talk here, people.
So my question is then basically the backstage producers are laid off and the wrestlers, the ones that got released, are like, hey, sorry, we can't afford to pay you anymore. You gone.
Well,
correct.
Yeah, because and this list so far includes Drake Maverick, Kurt Hawkins, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows, the club, Heath Slater, Aiden English, Eric Young, EC3, Leo Rush, Kurt Angle, we're lumping him in there because he's on this list. Sarah Logan, Mike Chioda. This is all just in the initial list here. Mike Chioda, Primo, Epico, the Colognes, Rowan, Mike and Maria Kanellis, Zack Ryder, No Way Jose, Rusev, Deanna Purrazzo, and Alexander Jaksic. So that's the list as
who's the last one?
Alexander Jaksic. I think he was I think he was NXT
he was a
UK.
performance center guy. Yeah, well, no, I think he was a performance center guy who was gonna have a rocket to his back in NXT.
Yeah. So
I didn't even hear of him.
So
before.
there,
Okay.
right there, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 wrestlers laid off. Now, there has been the argument and people being
released.
Stop.
No, hold on. I want to correct you because they were not laid off. Backstage people and people that work in the office were laid off.
No,
they were released.
There's a difference between being furloughed, released, and laid off. Okay, they were released. There's your semantics. They were released from their contracts. Now, from all accounts, most of them got paid a nice chunk of change to be released from their contracts. And yeah, there's a lot of them are upset. I don't know if you guys watched Drake Maverick's video of him talking. And now hear me out on this. I think from what I understand, all these people, it was an amicable release. Like Aiden English's video was actually really nice. And you know, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder both, they're like, hey, I got to live my dream for 14 years, you know, like, and they're saying, you know, I'm not done. I'm not done with wrestling. You'll see me again. I'll be around. I'm going to make this work. And that's admirable. But the thing is that they were released from their contracts. They can go do as they see fit. And it was WWE basically buying them out, because I mean, at least Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson signed big hefty contracts. So did Mike and Maria Kanellis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
they had a multi-year thing. Like they were locked in for about another 5 good
5 years. 5 years.
So
but this is also the argument that I had been hearing, is that this is proof positive. This list of talent, which honestly on there's not a worker on there that you say, wow, they're not really good. Yeah, okay, we can stand to be without them. Like you pick and choose people. EC3's good in the ring. No Way Jose, goofy gimmick, but he could work. He could work really well. I mean, you have this list of people, especially guys like Rusev, and I mean, he's been wanting out of his contract, but it's one of those things that this is proof that WWE had no need to sign on all these talents if they weren't going to use them. They were just trying to keep them from the competition, and now they're in the ether. You know what I mean? They're in the wind. They can go and do whatever they want. They can go work for Raw, PWG, New Japan. They can go go to the UK. They can go work for AEW. Also,
and they don't have any sort of non-compete clauses, right?
No,
they were released.
Yes, they do. No.
Oh, do
releases?
They?
Yes, releases. You still have a 90-day compete clause.
Yep.
I heard differently. I heard that they were released from their contracts and they are just done.
No, because Luke Harper was released from his contract and he had to wait 90 days.
That was,
the revival.
That's a standard. That's a standard circumstance, though.
A release is a release is a release. The reason that Moxley was able to show up on AEW a month later is because he finished out his contract.
Well, I think
he's the only one that's been able to do that.
I think what Poot is getting at is the fact that the terms of this release was not something where like these people were seeking it out to go for, to get future endeavored and go elsewhere. It was kind of like nobody really had a choice. Like it was just a matter of like, hey, we're not going to be able to sustain this, sustain any sort of profit by keeping you on board. We're going to have to release you. It wasn't a matter of them necessarily asking for a release. So I don't know. I mean, from what I saw, I can't remember who it was. I saw something on Instagram because I had seen Drake Maverick's video on Instagram. I saw Mike and Maria Kanellis's, and Mike Kanellis was very, very positive about it.
Yes, he was.
And so that's good. And Maria was
because it's exactly what he wanted. I mean, that's they signed these stupid big contracts last spring, and then they saw what AEW was going to become, and they were like, "Oh fuck!" And then, like, we heard, I think in like August, they were like, "Hey, we went out of our contracts," and they've been pretty much beating that drum for the last 6 months.
Yeah, and then obviously that's why they, besides the fact. Now, I mean, depending on how you look at it, and it could be a whole other discussion of the fact that they didn't reveal that. From what I was told before, or from what I had heard before, that Maria didn't tell WWE that she was pregnant or whatever until after they signed the contracts, and they
Right.
kind of like they pulled the wool over the company's eyes, and they weren't exactly happy about that. So of course, when Mike and Maria start crying, "Hey, you're not using us, we went out of our contracts," they're just gonna be like, "Oh, too bad, so sad. We own you now," and that's what you get for trying to pull the wool over our eyes. But in any case, what I was gonna say is that those videos I saw, like everybody had nothing but kind words. They were very professional about it, and I think I saw something about I think Cody Rhodes put something up on Instagram talking about Zack Ryder, saying something about like in 90 days I can't wait to see what you do in 90 days or something like that. I'm going to look it up real quick, but I think it might be a matter of they might have to wait 90 days. I don't know. I haven't heard.
Especially if Vince is, especially if this is a buyout. So like this is exactly like WCW. Well, not exactly, because that's a different that was a different story altogether. But like if Vince had to give them golden parachutes, which it sounds like he may have, because I think the club just signed a new contract last year too. A lot of them had longer contracts, so there's probably a portion of guaranteed money. And again, if you're a sports person, you know the difference between guaranteed money and contracts, because you can sign a $60 million deal, but if only 20 million of that's guaranteed, potentially you could only get 20 million.
Right.
But bottom line is that if Vince had to give out all this extra money for these people to cut their contracts out, in the long term it's going to make money, there's no way. And I mean, honestly, let's be real. I don't think that there's any way that AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, anybody's going to be in a position inside of 90 days to be able to bring them in anyway, just because of the state that we're in this country. Yeah. But I don't think there's any way in hell, pardon the pun, that Vince McMahon would let them walk out without 90-day no-compete clauses.
So here's the thing about the 90 days that I saw. It wasn't Cody that said it. It was actually DDP. But Cody made a big long post. I'm not going to read it or anything like that. But he had the picture of Zack Ryder when Zack won the IC title at WrestleMania in that ladder match, and DDP. Commented on it. He said, "I was there that night and I couldn't have said it better. I'm really looking forward to watching my broski start to soar 90 days from now." So just going based off of that, seeing somebody who, obviously is in and has been in the business, I'm going to assume
I have something. This is reported by the healbynature.com website. That released WWE talent recently released WWE talent under 90-day no-compete clause. NXT stars bound for only 30 days.
Well,
this was posted today.
I was going to say, it said that talent working for NXT have been given 30 days pay, after which they were told, quote, they were free to do whatever they want.
Of right. The ones that got released, or who? Like,
of the ones who.
I was like, wait a second. I was like, wait, NXT is gone? Like, I got confused there.
So that's good for like guys like Leo Rush.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's true.
I'm kind of surprised that they would get rid of him, because the fact that they kind of brought him back in the spotlight after like that kind of tumultuous back and forth. Like, you'd heard that he had a lot of backstage heat and stuff like that, but they put the strap on him there for a while, and they had him in some, really, really amazing matches with Angel Garza, and now poof, gone. So I don't know. Now, something that you guys had mentioned, I think this would be an interesting take to get, assuming that some of these people don't come back to the WWE, because there's a very good chance that once things are up and running again, and like Beef said, nobody's going to be in a position right away to just be like, oh, let me snag this talent up, because everybody's hurting financially one way or the other. Everybody's taking a hit. Unless you're under normal operations of your work, whatever your business is or anything like that, and you have not been, somehow affected in cut hours or this and that, or, if you're a restaurant owner having to do the pickup at the door, or, DoorDash or anything like that, everybody's taking a hit. So nobody's going to be able to just be like, well, we're going to snag you, and you. But fantasy booking wise, where do you think some of these people would end up? Starting down, whoever on the list, pick one out there, Poot.
Give me 1 second. My browser crashed. I'll pull it back up. I'll just let me pop into my history here. I have it.
No problem.
Okay, so we'll start with where's that list? Where'd it go? There it is. We'll start with Drake Maverick. I feel like, and we'll just go around the horn. I also would personally like to hear Ransom's take on all this. But how about before we get into that, I want to hear Ransom's take on this.
Geez, sometimes it's hard to get a word in edgewise.
Right?
We were getting there. We're going to bring it back around to you.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of those people you named off that list, like, yeah, they're good workers, but where were they going? Like, nowhere. Mike and Maria Kanellis, where were they going to go? Nowhere. Like that, they weren't going to bring. Shut up. They weren't going to be the ones that were going to be bringing in buttloads of money for WWE. Kurt Hawkins, no, sorry. Zack Ryder, been there, done that. Like I truly believe he peaked when he had his IC title run. It's a shame because he was another one of those people like Daniel Bryan was able to get over organically on his own. But Vince wasn't going to push him. He wasn't going to be in the title hunt. And even if he was, it would have been a one-off and he never would have won. So maybe there were 5 guys, 6 guys on that list. That's like, okay, big deal. It sucks that they're gone and they could be, they could have been a big deal in WWE. Like, Aiden English, I don't know. Sorry. Good worker, yeah. Great on the mic, yeah. But was he going to be a main eventer? Was he going to be, facing someone for the title? Was he going to have a big program with The Fiend for the title? No, he wasn't. Rusev, yeah, that's a shame. I think Rusev could have been one of those number 1 guys. But I look at this list and I go, yeah, it's great that, that they have the opportunity, and some of them will go somewhere and be great, but I think the majority of them, if they don't go back to WWE, will go somewhere else and, be exciting for a cup of coffee because it's like, oh, they went from WWE to here, and then it'll peter out.
So can I
retort real quick, boys? I have a Ransom specific retort on this one.
Here we go.
So that's like saying, oh man, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is great, but only because of the bread. Like, yeah, you know what? Aiden English was never going to main event a pay-per-view, but guess what? He was a pretty good manager, a great hype man, and a decent commentator. Drake Maverick was never going to compete for the World Heavyweight title, but you know what? He was pretty great in the 24/7 initial title run. Zack Ryder was never going to be WWE champion, but I'll tell you what, like, you want to get a guy who's got a great feel-good story and who could really rally fans and has done so multiple times. My point is that when you're running a successful wrestling company, because I have all the experience, of course,
yeah, right.
You want guys who can fill out your card. You want guys who can be a great curtain jerker, who can be a great low card, mid card, high card, and main event. And you want guys to know their place. So I think that the bulk of this talent, yes, was mid to low card, but there are shows on WWE Network like 205 Live that are now gutted without guys like Leo Rush and guys like Mike Canales who were really doing work on that program. So to me, or even future fantasy booking, Mike Canales is a potential cruiserweight champion on NXT. He would have fucking flourished in NXT as cruiserweight champion. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, save the crocodile tears for all but the big ones. I understand that, but in the same breath, like, this is a lot of solid guys who make up your undercard. So if you don't have those undercard guys, guess what's going to happen? Now it creates a vacuum for when they come back to TV, because I can guarantee you, like, guys like Drake Maverick strikes me as a guy who might be back in a couple of months. But guys like Zack Ryder, guys like Rusev, guys like The Club, guys like Mike Canales are going to take this as a freedom. Even in English, are going to take this as freedom and find something better where they are better being utilized. So it's going to cause a vacuum. And you know what's going to happen? The same thing that we've been bitching about for a year. NXT guys coming up, getting a hot push, and then immediately being fodder. See Oney Lorcan. Fucking exhibit fucking A. Oney Lorcan.
It's reassuring on one hand, but sad on the other, like you said, because if Drake Maverick comes back, they need to do more with him in the ring, because he can actually work. They need to do more with him and not just have him be a manager or mouthpiece for 205 Live or whatever the actual fuck. But the thing is, I'm excited to see what guys like Rusev and Zack Ryder are going to do whenever they have more freedom, because those guys, yeah, Zack Ryder's goofy and everything, but like, they have such personality and such, for some reason, they have that X factor of being able to relate to people and relate to the crowd and be likable, that wherever they land, they're going to do great. I personally think, and this is my first kind of throw off instead of just running down the list, Rusev and NJPW. He would be banger in NJPW. Absolutely great. A big brute like him, come on.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I could see Rusev going NJ to Japan, or I could see Japan or Ring of Honor, possibly even Impact. I'll be honest. I could.
Oh my gosh!
Relax.
You guys are so detached. Like, the guys who run AEW.
Time, everyone. Go.
That's
Beef.
right. That's fucking right. Mm-hmm. Like, the guys who run AEW are smart marks. They sit here and they watch the ebbs and flows of the business. They sit here and watch the guys who are getting way over,
guys,
and the WWE is missing the mark on.
Little does he know I muted him.
Like Dean Ambrose. Okay? So, guys like Rusev, who are crazy over, they're going to throw the fucking... They're going to back the money truck up to his house. Zack Ryder's another one. I'll tell you what. My pick of the litter is going to be Zack Ryder. He's going to go to AEW, and he's going to be something special. I think he's going to give us something in the AEW that we haven't seen before, and it's going to be outstanding.
Well, okay. Well, going down the list again, still, Drake Maverick. Where could you see him? Where could you see him ending up, Ransom? If anywhere. If it's guaranteed that these people are going to go back to work, do you think you would see him go back to WWE, or do you think you'd see him go to another company?
He'd probably go back to WWE first, if that's an option. If not, probably AEW.
Okay, I'm with you on that one.
Right.
And I don't think he'd go back to Impact. I mean, I know he was there before, and I know Impact is different than what it was whenever it was like really bad. But I think it's still probably a sour taste in some people's mouths for it.
Let's just do a zip around the horn then. I think, honestly,
absolutely.
I think that Drake Maverick is going to go back to WWE. It was his dream job, and he loved it there. Beef, what do you think?
WWE.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Kurt Hawkins. Tom, start us off.
Pass.
Ooh, all right, Ransom.
Whoever will pay him.
Okay.
That's yeah.
I mean, not to shit on anybody, and I get it, Beef, but some of these guys, I just don't think some of these guys are going to have every single promotion beaten down their door.
Right.
Like, not every other promotion other than WWE is going to be beating down the Kurt Hawkins door. It's not going to happen. A, because of Kurt Hawkins, and B, because of the financial climate. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I think that Hawkins is going to go back to the smaller indies and like hone his craft and work on a new character. Then I think maybe a couple months, if not a year or two down the road, then he'll come back around. Beef, what do you think?
New Japan. He's got the goofy gimmick. Like, I think that he would fit right in with Chaos. I think that he will be in New Japan.
All right.
I could see Row. I could see possibly Impact, and then maybe Japan for Hawkins.
Rowe would be a pretty good fit for him. All right. The club, Gallows and Anderson. This is a no-brainer. Back to NJPW. Absolute no-brainer.
I would say that, and if not Japan, then AEW, because I feel like them, being such an established tag team and AEW wanting to focus a lot on tag team wrestling, I think that's kind of a very obvious choice too. So one of those two.
Fair. Ransom?
I'm going to echo what Tom said. I think AEW being a promotion that wants to really hone the tag team division, if they have the funds, I think I can see them making the club a solid offer.
Beef?
You fucker stole my answer. Honestly, though, I think they probably get the Moxley and Jericho deal, where they'll be able to work Japan and AEW both. But I think if it comes down to one or the other, I think they'll work AEW.
I guess in retrospect, it makes more sense because not only, not saying that they're not still relevant, but I'm saying their time in how they were relevant in NJPW has passed. All the people they were relevant with are now in AEW, and plus. Come on, where are the top guys going to go? Can you imagine Gallows and Anderson versus the Revival?
Revival.
Fuck.
Oh man.
Actually, I think that them going back to NJPW is more prudent now than it would have been 2 years ago, because the guys in AEW, the Jacksons and Kenny Omega and Hagman, were there after the club. So I think, and now the club that's there now is the Tongas and Bad Luck Fale. They were the guys who initiated a Bullet Club with those guys. So I mean, right now it's actually more prudent for them to go back to Japan. But yes, I think AEW is a bigger payday for them.
All right, I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Aiden English. I'm going to kick this one off. I'm saying either Impact or Row. I think that his gimmick and his shtick of the singer thing, and I feel like. I really feel like that would fit well with Row and Impact. I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling. I feel like he would that character fits the rogues gallery of those two companies.
You know what? I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to say maybe NWA Power.
Oh, good call.
Because I haven't watched any yet, but from all accounts, I hear that
it's good.
I hear that Damian Sandow is doing really good over there. Or whatever his actual real name is, Aaron something, I can't remember.
Stevens?
Yeah, Aaron Stevens.
Thank you. Yeah, Aaron Stevens.
He agreed. Ransom?
I think he's another one that he's going to go where someone will pay him. I think for some of these guys who maybe haven't gotten all the big bucks in the bank accounts in the WWE, maybe they don't have a lot to fall back on, and they're going to want to say, look, I got to provide for my family, so I'm going to offer.
All right.
And I don't know what company's going to do that with Aiden English. I'm sure some company will, but I think it's whoever's going to make him an offer, he'll probably take it.
Fair. That's how you rebuild sometimes. Beef?
Yeah.
I think a lot of these companies that are starting to break, like NJPW is starting to break into the U.S. a little bit, and Row is really struggling now with the advent of AEW. I mean, these guys were on TV with high profile matches, and even though they may not have been, even though they may be jobbers, they're still high profile guys. So I think you maybe not be giving them the credit that they're getting, but I think that and sadly enough, I think it's going to be Ring of Honor for English. Hopefully he gets better and gets somewhere else, but I think he'll end up there.
All right. I can see that. Now, here's one that really does disappoint me. The first of the ones, I mean, Anderson and Gallows aside, but like this one really disappoints me. Eric Young, he got such a bad rep. And I mean, you could say, oh, go back to Impact and be Super Eric and that whole goofy gimmick. But I really think that Eric Young would flourish in either AEW or NWA Power.
I would say either one of those, it could be a good choice. I was going to say Ring of Honor. I feel like they had a really good thing with him and doing Sanity. I don't know why they I don't know what ever really happened to that, but man, they fucking screwed the pooch on that.
It just lost in the ether, man.
Yeah, but I could see him. I could see him trying to maybe reestablish something like that in Ring of Honor.
Be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Ransom?
I honestly think that it's up in the air with him. He could probably go anywhere. I don't think he'll go back to Impact just because it's kind of like a been there, done that deal.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll see a future for himself there. So, someone with the talent of Eric Young, I think he could make it in anywhere, honestly. I think him not going back to TNA, if that's what happens, I think that'll be a choice of his. I think he'll choose not to go there.
Right. Beef?
I mean, I think that he still has a pretty good relationship with Scott D'Amore, who I think is more in charge of Impact now. So Impact wouldn't shock me. I actually think that so MLW would be another good one for him. I think MLW would be good for him. But
I didn't even think of that one.
Would not shock me to see him kind of like take a step back and work into a producer role with WWE on down the line here in a couple months.
I would like to see that because I mean he's a bit of a journeyman. All right, Michael Hutter, old EC3.
Ooh.
I'm gonna reverse the order here. Beef, give us your hot take on where EC3 is gonna go.
Impact, because AEW's already got their EC3, smarter, faster, better, younger in MJF. So EC3 is going back to the Impact.
Go ahead, Ransom.
I'm going to agree with Beef on this one. I don't think AEW is going to see the need for him. And even if the door opened up again, I don't think he'd go back to WWE. No. I think he was very sour on that relationship, so I could see him going to Impact.
Which is absolutely understandable the way they handled him, for God's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks of fanfare, a ladder match, and then nothing.
Yeah.
All right. Tiger Bomb Tom?
I'm going to say NWA Power. I feel like, I don't know. I just got a weird feeling that's like, I feel like that's somewhere... I think
isn't MJF on Power though?
No, he was with MLW.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I could see EC3 going to NWA. I could see him doing that. I don't see him going to Raw.
Yeah.
Like the thing with the way for a lot of people. The way I see Rowe or the way I've seen Rowe described is a lot of really good in-ring, like amazing in-ring work, but not a whole lot of storytelling. They're not good at building their stories and stuff like that, which if you go and watch a lot of it, it's a fair assessment. So I don't see EC3 as being like a Rowe in-ring type of worker. I don't know. I see him more for NWA. I don't know what his relationship was leaving Impact or anything like that. I don't know if it was on a sour note or anything. So I just think it's just me thinking like along the lines for myself, like, hey, if I've been there, done that, let me go try something else. The Jericho effect. Like I could go back to a company that I've been working for before, but isn't it going to be the same shit? Why don't I go try something new? You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. I think EC3 would fit really, really well in either Power or going back to Impact. I mean, Beef took my answer. That's why I was trying to throw another thing in there. I think Power's a good option for him, but I mean Impact just makes sense. And if there's it would be cool one day if he could bring that like if he could have the freedom to be EC3 again, like really be Ethan Carter III again, and redo that character. It would be great to see the old douchebag frat boy versus young frat boy one day, and seeing him versus MJF. Oh my god, it would be the clash of the egos. It'd be great. But honestly, I think it's either going to be Impact or Power. Next up here, we've got Lio Rush. I'm going to start with Ransom on this one.
Oh, I don't know. He'll probably go back to WWE if he gets the chance.
Okay. I'm going to let Beef go because I feel like he's not, and this is not a goof or a laugh. Like, I feel like Beef has got a lot to say about Lio Rush.
I really don't.
Really?
Wow. I mean, dude has skills, but he's also got a mouth and a penchant for getting himself into trouble. He was never going to succeed in WWE. At best, he was going to be a hot ticket in NXT, be brought back up to WWE, and be dog shit again.
Wow.
New Japan, I think would be a good fit for him. He would fit in good with the juniors over there.
All right.
If he can keep his mouth shut.
Tom?
I was gonna say Impact or Raw. Not a whole lot of reasoning behind it. I just feel like I just kind of feel the way he works and stuff like that. I feel like that company would be better suited for him. New Japan's not a bad choice either. I don't see him going to Power, but I think I just think with how good he is in the ring and the cruiserweight style that he works, Raw is a pretty big no-brainer. New Japan is a good choice. Impact, has he ever been in Impact?
Impact is actually a great choice, and I actually forgot all about them. But yeah, Impact makes a lot more sense than anything, probably.
Yeah, so I'll go with one of those three.
I would say either New Japan, just because seeing him work with guys like
Will Ospreay.
Like, I mean, yeah, my God, it would be great.
Dragon Lee, Rhea Lee, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But another one, and correct me if I'm wrong here because I might be out of the loop, but AAA?
Oh,
yeah. AAA?
That's fucking interesting.
Dude,
yeah.
Take him down to AAA, put him down there, and have him work a chaotic cavalier devil may care style. Like, I mean, I feel like he would do really well, and I also think working down there would really, in that dynamic, would really humble him a little bit, and I think really put some deeper treads on the tires. I think it would make him like mature him a little bit, because like Beef said, he does have a mouth. I don't think he'll go back to WWE because even though things seem to gloss over, I don't think that he would want to be put. Lio Rush has to have freedom, and when Lio Rush doesn't have freedom, he lashes out. Yeah. So I feel like the Wild West of AAA would be a really good place for him. I'm not even gonna. No offense to Kurt Angle, I'm not even gonna bother with him. He has all the money. Okay, this one's hard. Sarah Logan.
Ooh.
Or Sarah Rowe.
Man, I'm really disappointed that WWE has never done more with her. I feel like I feel like she already had a very interesting look to begin with, and then once she really kind of embraced the Viking stuff, it made it even more so. And then she cut weight and stuff like that. She's gotten into really good shape. I'd like to see her go to AEW and help that women's division over there.
Beef?
Yeah, that's tough. I think that she'll probably be back in WWE because I think that WWE is not going to let the War Raiders go anywhere. I mean, War Machine go anywhere. So I think that that she's going to just kind of wait it out. to throw a curveball in, you know what names I've heard are on the chopping block next are Ruby Riott and Ember Moon.
Yep.
And I think that those two names would be gangbusters in AEW, because right now, if I had to rank anybody's women's division as the lowest, AEW's is just not quite there. They have a lot of great matches, but they just need a little bit more. And someone like Ruby Riott or Ember Moon could be that little bit more.
Agreed.
I would agree as well. Ransom?
He's like, I forgot his name.
I'm reading something. I apologize.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
I don't know. Probably back to WWE. I don't think they're done with her. I think they could have utilized her more. I think there's opportunity for her.
I would agree with Ransom. However, I'm going to throw this out there because of connections through her husband. I think she would do well in Stardom. I think she would do. I think she would do well with like a woman's strong style kind of thing. I do. That there or like some promotion in Japan, but I think it would be really cool to see her working over there and being a little more worldly. Not to insult her in-ring work, I mean, or anything, but I feel like having that experience will, again, make her overall better. Just, kind of seeing the rest of the world. We all covered Sarah Logan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we did.
Here's something real quick. I literally just read that it looks like the Revival have Dawson and Wilder. I forget their real names. Have filed for the trademark Fear the Revolt. So it looks like they may be going for the Revolt as their tag team name in the future.
I like it.
Love it or hate it. I love it. I think it's a brilliant name.
Interesting.
Yeah, agreed.
So what are some of the what's left? Not to disparage anybody else, but based off of what we in the chat, what are some of the bigger names that's left on the list that we?
Well, we're gonna get we're getting there. We're whittling down the list. We don't have that many more. Obviously, we got to talk about the most important person on this list. Just Mike Chioda. That's a. I honestly think
fucking dick move. That's my biggest fucking problem with this one is this is a big dick move because this dude's been in the company for like 30 years.
Yep. And I, you know what? Maybe he was fixing to retire anyway. You know what I mean? Maybe he opted. It could very well be. I mean,
it could have been that, but if you look at it from a business standpoint, I've been in businesses before where they need to make cutbacks. So regardless of however long someone has been there, they cut a senior guy because that senior guy is usually making good money.
Yeah.
And if they have, younger guys that can do what this senior guy did, I'm not disparaging referees, but, if they have younger referees that can pick up the slack, why not give those younger referees a chance and cut some of the big money?
And look at it, and look at how they've been. They brought up the one female referee from NXT to be on the main roster and stuff like that, and working both basically. Yeah. So,
I mean, you have people who are young and hungry that'll push to do the work. Let's get through the rest of these so we can hit like the last couple big names. Primo and Epico, the Colognes. I think they're going to go back. They're going to go down. They're going to go back down to Mexico. I think they'll go to Mexico or they'll go to Puerto Rico.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, why not? Because go somewhere like, especially Puerto Rico, they're probably massive stars. I mean, they're part of the Colon family, for God's sake.
Well, I was going to say, doesn't the Colon family have their own kind of like promotion down there anyways?
Yeah.
So that's probably where they'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me with the rest of the wrestling world, quoting the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. Who?
Oh,
who the fucker? You'd be better off calling them Los Matadores, and more people would know who they are.
Oh man, that breaks my heart because I love when they brought them back and they were just the Colognes. They were working stiffer. They were working more serious. Like, it was great. I liked them, and I thought solid.
I love them as
mid-carders.
the. You know what? And this is me being a total mark, but I love them as the shining stars when they were like, "Come to Puerto Rico, the shining star of the Caribbean," and they'd hand out the fucking timeshare
grins.
pamphlets. That was so easy, but so great.
Oh yeah, I like that.
The grins that they had were hilarious.
Yeah.
Ransom, what do you think about the colognes?
I can see them going back to their roots, going back to their family.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me to see them go back to Puerto Rico. But I don't know. I go back with the whole tag team thing. Maybe they could do something good in AEW because of the pedigree they have with the tag team. I don't know. That one's up in the air for me.
All right, let's keep cooking here. Rowan, I think he would be a great addition to the Dark Order, AEW.
Nah.
Wyatt family 2.0. Like I don't think they'd go there.
I would hope that they wouldn't.
I honestly don't know, but I'm gonna say Impact.
I think Impact would be a good fit too.
This is your hoss, man. This is the guy who should go to New Japan and be an absolute dynamite monster. So yeah,
All right,
100%. Rowan should go to New Japan.
Ransom.
Oh, I don't know.
As long as he doesn't bring the ugly fake spider with him, who cares?
It's dead.
Yeah, he would have to go somewhere and be new. I don't know. I don't think the Rowan gimmick was doing anything in WWE. And for me, just when the Wyatt family fell, he was out of that. He seemed like the low man on the totem pole out of that. Ray definitely top man. Luke Harper was second, but it just seemed like he was the low man on that totem pole. So I think he'll go with where the money is. Someone that's going to pay him, he'll go there.
And you know what? The one thing I got to say real quick about Rowan is the most I was ever into his character is whenever he quote unquote turned on Daniel Bryan or whatever.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the most I ever heard the man fucking speak ever. So
Yeah.
give him an opportunity to do that.
I think that speaks highly of Rowan that we were throwing out different things for him. Like he could go these different places, really. And NJPW, oh man, yeah. Anyway, the Kanellises, Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis. I honestly, they'd be really good. AEW is an obvious answer, but why, man? Put them back on Impact. Why not?
I'd say AEW.
Beef.
They're definitely going back to WWE. I'm joking. They're going to AEW. As long as AEW is still interested in them, I think that will be the case.
That makes sense. Ransom.
Agreed.
All right. No Way Jose.
I'll say this. I don't really know, but from what I heard, I'm glad that they that his match, that they had some decent quote unquote undercard matches involving the one with him and Lashley recently on Raw, I think it was, or whatever. Lashley was going to win, but they instead of where you would have squash matches where they bring in local guys, you got somebody like No Way Jose up on there just to give him TV time and stuff like that. I'm glad that they did that. That said, I have no freaking clue wherever somebody will pay him. I don't know.
I honestly think, and maybe this would be shooting a little bit too high. I think he would really fit in NJPW. Put him, like Beef said, put him in what was it, Chaos? Put him in Chaos. Either that or he's gonna go work the small indies and kind of rebuild himself.
Yeah, this is a guy who, if there's not a lot of people on this list that don't move the meter for me, but he's one. I've never understood it. I've never got the gimmick. He had an awesome entrance song, and that's about that. That's about all I could say for him. So I'd be shocked if anybody's going to be throwing some hard money at him. AAA might be a good place for him as well.
Yeah, he can work too, man.
Even put him under a hood. I mean that may be the best route to go, is to kind of just completely wipe out his current stuff and start anew.
Ransom?
I think we'll see him in one of the smaller promotions. I don't know that AEW is going to a ton of money at him. I agree with Beef. I never really got it with him. Maybe he could have. Maybe he could be great somewhere. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't get a chance to shine in WWE. I don't know. But
yeah, small indies.
I think legitimate. Yeah, I think we'll
young
see him
enough.
Small.
He's young enough. He could do it.
I feel like No Way Jose was them trying to make up for Adam Rose flopping.
Yep.
And then what a coincidence.
Yeah.
They buried it the same way they did. All right, Deonna Purrazzo. Send her back to the UK and put her in Progress.
I was gonna say that
Put her
or
in
Impact.
Progress. Yeah.
Was it, she did some work in Impact, didn't she?
I think so.
It was either Impact or Raw.
Hell, send her to AEW. Why not? Help out the women's division there. Maybe.
I mean, she'd go there. She would go there and be the same thing she's doing on NXT, where she'd be an enhancement talent. I think that Stardom wouldn't be too out of the question for her.
Yeah.
Progress is another good one. Shimmer, like basically the stateside version of Stardom. And again, I right now, so she's pretty young yet. And I think that, she's another one that could go back, kind of reinvent herself and work on herself and come back to NXT or come back to AEW in a few years and be a hit. So,
all right. Ransom, you have anything to weigh in?
No, I don't know who she is.
Okay. All right. Rusev. For me, it's put him. I know we've mentioned before in previous podcasts of he would do well in Impact. I'm saying there's your hoss, Beef. Put him in New Japan and let him run roughshod.
I agree. New Japan or Impact. That's my two. I would have said AEW, but AEW already brought over Lance Archer, so they got the big hoss there from Japan.
Yeah.
So
you're telling me that Lance Archer versus Rusev doesn't make your mouth water, because that gets me a little bit like wrestling excited.
You got a wrestling boner.
Wrestling boner there?
A little bit. So
got a
I
little
think
wrestle chub.
like we said, AEW has to pick and choose, because again, they could be in a very similar financial position as Vince McMahon here in a couple months, given how the NFL season progresses. So that being said, they're going to have to pick and choose, and they have the opportunity now to pick and choose. I think that Zack Ryder will get there just because of his affiliation with Cody, and I think that Rusev will get there because, again, these guys who watch AEW, or these guys who run AEW, are the marks watching the product, seeing how the fans react to things. They'd be dumb not to bring in Rusev.
Ransom?
I think Rusev goes to AEW. I agree with Beef. I think they would have seen how big of an impact he had in WWE and how big the crowd base was behind him. And I think that they would be able to utilize him. Someone who was able to get over as much as he did, have the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand. I think AEW sees money in him.
We'd be remiss if we didn't say anyone saw money in Rusev. Because, I mean, come on. He's so good. He's so good. All right. Finally here. And this might be the no-brainer, but I wanted to save it for last because he was just such a hardline company guy. Zack Ryder. I'm saying AEW. AEW all day long.
If he doesn't somehow make his way back into WWE, because I feel like, I don't know. I've heard it said before that I've heard other wrestlers say, well, there's some people that are content with, making their paycheck and that's it. Like, I think I heard Moxley say that before. Moxley, like, when he left, he didn't even look at the offer that the WWE put in front of him. He wanted more creativity. He wanted more creative freedom and stuff like that. Zach's been there for a long time. I could see him going back to WWE, but if he doesn't, AEW all day long.
Beef?
I don't think he has anything left to accomplish in WWE. I think that Ransom's 100% right, that he hit his ceiling. Vince never understood Zack Ryder. Vince never gave Zack Ryder a chance. The only reason that Zack Ryder did what he did and was where he was is because people were in his ear the entire time saying, hey man, this is a thing. And suddenly fucking Zack Ryder, a one-man fucking band on YouTube, like suddenly now WWE is all over social media all the time, fucking hashtag this and now trending, blah, blah, blah. That was Zack Ryder's influence, 110%. So, but Vince never got it. And if Zack Ryder's fucking smart, he'll understand that Vince will never get him. AEW gets him, and like I said earlier, I think that we're going to get something from Zack Ryder on AEW that's 100% unique and interesting. Here's the boomerang on this though. What happens with Chelsea Green? Because Zack Ryder and Chelsea Green are a thing, and she was talking to AEW as well. So if Ryder goes to AEW, I would think that Chelsea Green wouldn't be far behind.
She performed on All In, and I loved her gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the hot mess. Oh, it was so good. Well,
I mean, honestly, I think it really depends on her contract situation and everything like that. I mean, I could see if they feel like they are actually, if they say that they're gonna do something halfway decent of a push with her. I don't see her trying to jump ship right away. Because look at Britt Baker and Adam Cole. They work for the separate companies, but they're fine. So,
well, WWE even showed Britt Baker on TV,
right? Mm-hmm. So it's I don't think just because I don't think she's gonna necessarily just jump ship immediately if he goes elsewhere. But hey, if either is fine. Either would be fine for me with her. I could see her doing well in AEW, and I could see if they actually, try to actually give her a decent push. I could see them doing well with her in WWE as well.
Ransom?
I think there's enough people in AEW that will push for Zack Ryder that he'll probably end up there. If he's smart. If he's dumb, he'll go back to WWE.
Well, yeah. And you also know that he's going to be taken care of because of Cody.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, that's the list of releases so far. In-ring talent releases.
Right. All the backstage producers will probably go back to WWE. Or whatever, or what?
Well, and the other side of that is the other side of it is how many of them may want to. Guys like Billy Kidman, he's and Lance Storm. Yes, this is probably one of the highlights of their career, helping the young guys put together great matches. But a guy like Fit Finlay, I don't know, man. He may want to head to greener pastures, and this may be his opportunity to do just that.
I could see Fit maybe, having some talks with AEW, possibly even Impact.
New Japan. His son wrestles for New Japan. So
yeah.
I thought it was funny that Jay White tweeted him about being in the Bullet Club, and Finlay was like, "That's interesting," and his son David was like, "Dad, what the hell?"
And David Finlay is also very, very talented.
Yes, he is. He's lightning in a bottle. He's the next name you're going to be hearing here in about 3 or 4 years.
I hope so, because I think he deserves it. But yeah, guys, that's the list. So far, and we really, a lot of people talk about with the way things are going sociologically. And, from a standpoint of the economy and what people are learning from this, from how businesses let their employees work and how they treat them and everything like that. But this, from the bubble of professional wrestling in the world, this is one of, if not the most interesting times, just by dint of these releases. And the projected number, there are some people throwing around saying that it's going to be in the hundreds of people that WWE is laying off. Obviously, not all of that being in-ring talent. It's going to be a lot of people who work for corporate and behind the scenes and everything like that. However, this is so interesting because this could be a massive, massive shift. If AEW and the cons want to throw all that money at a lot of this talent to bring them in, they could have reason to go to TNT. Once things calm down, they can start having live shows again. They could argue for a second show during the week just so they could utilize all these talents. I know they were in talks about it, but it would really put the nail in the coffin.
I think that's a done deal. And not talking about Dark. They're talking about a third separate show, a second show on TNT, and that's great, man. Although NXT has beaten them in the ratings the last 2 weeks, be it ever so slightly. Last week was Tampa Bay, was quote unquote takeover Tampa Bay, so that's understandable. This week, I don't know, man. Again, is that the Charlotte Flair effect? I talked about that a little bit last week. Are more people tuning in to see what Charlotte's going to do with that title? I think. Is it the Killer Cross effect? Because they threw out a little bit of a ball tickler there last week with Killer Cross and the smoke show Scarlett Bordeaux in the car. Did they want to see what he was going to do? So. It's and how much of it is because there's no crowds, maybe. But I mean, there was a title match on AEW this week, like a heavyweight title match. So,
quick question: Scarlett Bordeaux or whatever. She's part of NXT now.
She is.
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
You want to talk, Tom? How did she not make your I would list?
Oh, yeah, right? I didn't know.
Her name is the Smoke Show.
I didn't know about her before my I would list, but I definitely follow her on Instagram, and I totally would.
What episode? I was trying to figure out going back. What episode was it that we did your I would list?
Oh God!
My God!
It was
the cold open.
The cold open. That was shortly before. That was shortly before AEW went on television, so you'd have to go for the date. I actually went and looked it back up myself once, but I don't remember the exact episode number. I'll find out for you though.
All right, please.
By the way, his new name is going to be Carry On Cross, which I don't mind. That's actually Carry On's a pretty cool name, so I'm okay with that.
Is it Carrion or is it Carry On?
Like carrion, yeah. Like
flesh.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm into it. And then having a character like that with Scarlett Bordeaux on his arm, it's the movie Blade come to life.
Yeah, it's clear that you're going to use them together because last week's NXT and then this week's NXT, where you saw Cross take out Ciampa, and then like the big like lifted heels like in the shot with them. Of course, they're going to be used together, and they'd be dumb not to. So.
All right. Do we have a hot take trivia? Are we doing hot take trivia?
Yes, we are.
All right. Cool. Anyway, while we get all that sorted out, anyone want to thank the sponsors again?
No.
Okay. Cool.
He's like, our one sponsor that is consistent with us is showing up late. Fuck him.
You thanked him at the beginning. We'll thank him at the end. No need to jack him off.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm already jacked off for the evening. I'm good.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay, that's why you were late. Cool. Good to know.
Welcome to TMI Podcast, everybody.
Oh wait. This isn't a Breaking Kayfabe episode. Fuck.
All right, so who's what's the order going to be? I'm going to leave this up to Beef. Beef.
I have nothing
I'm
prepared.
asking Tom. I'm asking Tom.
That's fine. I have no question prepared, anyways. I'm not going to lie.
All right,
I'll ask Beef.
You're going to ask Beef. I'll ask Ransom.
Tom asked Poot.
And then Tom asked me if you can come up with something. I'll tell you what. Then Beef, start out. Go for it.
All right, Tom. So this is about your buddy, Bill Goldberg, who
Fuck you.
may have, hopefully, we have seen the last of.
Nope. Blood Money 4, Goldberg rises.
I'm just letting you know, the moment you mention his name, I'm immediately tuning you out, so I'm not going to hear whatever you have to ask me. But go on.
He'll be at the next
My
Blood Money.
question
He'll
to
win
you
a
is-
title.
His last time before the most recent one back at WrestleMania 33, obviously, was just after the Attitude Era. He was the guy that that a lot of people really had him pegged as coming over as part of the invasion of WCW, and it didn't work out that way because of the Time Warner contracts. But once he came, he had a big impact. I want you to tell me who he beat for the world title and who he lost to for that very same world title.
I have no idea because this is during the time that I wasn't watching, and I could give a shit less about Bill Goldberg. So my answer is Bill Goldberg. Fuck yourself and die.
Take
Final
a stab. Take a stab.
I don't know.
Listen to me, you fool. If I said the word, if I said the word World Heavyweight Championship, aka Big Gold Belt on Raw, who does your mind go to?
Triple H.
That's the one.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Bill Goldberg was the lone interrupter in his year-long reign. Triple H won in December at Armageddon, lost to Goldberg at Unforgiven in September, and then won again at Armageddon in 2003. So,
Man, Tom,
Well,
you
that's
really hate. I thought it was for a goof. You really hate Bill Goldberg.
Yeah. Well documented. I don't think he should have ever. Yeah, I'm not even going to go into it. It's well documented. Do you want to know how much I dislike him and my disdain for him in professional wrestling? Go back and listen to all the other episodes of the P3 podcast. I mean, even though Bret Hart is a big fat crybaby, he fucking ended his career because he's an asshole and careless. So fuck him. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Beef doesn't have quite the disdain for Bill Goldberg, having ended one of Beef's favorite wrestlers' careers of all time.
Exactly.
yeah,
I'm shocked.
But Bret Hart but Bret Hart and WCW is like great value brand anything. You get it, and it breaks 2 weeks into it, and you're like, "Aww." And then,
No.
or if it's fucking like great value silverware, you're like digging into your meatball and it
That's-
snaps off. You're like, "Oh."
That's not the product's fault. That's the manufacturer's fault.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm going to
give a
stick
fuck.
up for Bret. I'm going to stick up for Bret Hart because if WCW used Bret Hart well, I can't fault him for his flop in WCW. I can't fault Bret. I mean, to a point I can. He chose to go there. That was his doing. He was on the way out before the Montreal Screwjob. That's why the Montreal Screwjob happened.
Yep.
But if WCW would have utilized Bret Hart the way that WWE did, I truly believe that Bret Hart would have been the top star there.
Yep.
If they would have used him right, he could have been the top guy in WCW. And I don't know how that would have, impacted the future of WCW. Maybe it wouldn't have made a big difference. I don't know. But I can't blame his flop on him. I don't think he changed anything that he did. I think they just didn't know how on earth to use him.
Yep.
Which is shame on WCW for not knowing how to use one of the greatest talents and the hottest talents in the 90s.
Yep.
That's a big shame.
Anywho.
All right.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Tom, you're asking me, buddy. Go for it.
I honestly have nothing, but I'm gonna pull something out of my ass. So we talked about Chelsea Green,
Sure.
and her manager that's with her. I want you to give me who he formerly wrestled as in another company in Impact. Who was he over there?
Completely forgot she had a manager. Have no idea. And
Really?
It's the Robert Stone brand. I mean, how can you forget? That's to me. That's the best part of Chelsea. That's the best part of Chelsea Green's gimmick is the Robert Stone brand.
He kind of. Side note: he kind of reminds me of of the one
Harvey
the character.
Whippleman.
Okay.
No,
Now,
no.
will you guys permit me? I want to look up a picture of him because I can't remember what he looks like.
Okay, have you seen season 2 of American Horror Story Asylum?
I got you.
Yes.
Okay, you remember Dr. Thredson, the actual bloody face?
Yes.
Zachary Quinto's character, whatever. He kind of looks like him a little bit.
Oh,
Hold on, Poot. I'm on it.
okay. Are you sending it in Discord?
Yep.
Okay. Let me pull up the Discord here.
Okay.
All right. Watching, waiting. Aw, that ugly Team Hell No shirt's still there.
It is. I've been staring at it like all night. I'm like, it's just so foul and angry looking.
I want
It's
to buy
bad.
Let's fix this. Hold on.
There it is.
Hold on. I'll take a look at that in a second, but we need to absolutely fix this. How about with this?
That'll work.
There we go. Oh, him. Oh, damn it. Oh, no. I'm going to kick myself, aren't I?
Probably.
Fuck. God, she really
I
is
don't
a
know who
smoke
that
show.
is.
That's Scarlett Bordeaux. Yeah, I can't remember.
Anybody else want to take a guess?
No, I don't
Ransom?
know.
Beef. Then Beef leaves the show. Okay,
See
well,
ya,
screw
Beef.
it.
Bye,
All
Beef.
right, bye, Beef. So actually, who he was in Impact?
Beef, where are you, buddy?
I'm here.
Keep going. He'll be
Okay.
back. Oh, look at him.
He's there. You know who he was in Impact, Beef?
I looked it up and I was fucking shocked because I forgot all about it.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned Eric Young earlier and everything. If you remember Robbie E., that's who he was in Impact.
Oh, fuck.
Robert Stone, Robbie E.
Wow. All right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Well, I guess it's my turn. Ransom.
Charlie Sheen.
Damn it.
Ben
Fuck.
Marie, strength to the size of a lima bean.
That was
So-
crazy. Good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Go on.
All right, Beef.
Nope. All right. Ransom. So at WrestleMania 34, when Shinsuke Nakamura wasn't lost in the shuffle and being treated like a trash fire, he had his entrance, and he had a special guest musician with him. It was a guitarist, and I'll give you a hint. She played his intro along with backing track. What was the name of that guitarist?
Oh. I don't know.
It's a little bit of a deep cut. I was kind of hoping to throw it at Beef. Anyone have a guess?
Is it Nita Strauss?
It is, in fact, Nita Strauss, the guitarist for Mr. God, what is wrong with me the past couple episodes? I am
Isn't she,
absolutely
Hailstorm?
that's Lizzie Hale.
Yeah.
But she has a hell of a solo career. She has an album out there, a solo album that's instrumental that is banger. So go listen to that. It's really, really good.
She's on Instagram as like, isn't it like Hurricane Rita or something like that or whatever?
Well, that's her nickname is the Hurricane.
Yeah.
She
Stand
plays
back.
for Alice Cooper.
Oh yeah.
She plays for Alice Cooper. So there you go.
Coop.
There
Yeah.
she is. Yep. Hurricane
Nita Strauss.
Hurricane Nita. Yep.
She is
There she
awesome.
And
Awesome,
I would.
awesome.
And I definitely would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Beef, you idiot. Survivor Series. I love the Survivor Series tag team matches. But we're not talking about that. We're going to talk about the Survivor Series that didn't feature a Survivor Series tag team match. Which two Survivor Series were those?
'Cause it's a deadly game. that you're playing with our lives.
I'm gonna murder you. You broke the internet, by the way.
What is that? 98. Deadly Game definitely did not, because Deadly Game was all the title tournament. So yeah, I think it was 98. So yes, that one definitely did not.
Who was the last match in that title tournament?
Oh, The Rock versus Mankind.
Yep. What was the other one? You bitch.
I want to say it was real recently. 2017.
No.
Damn.
It was 2002.
Oh.
And instead of a Survivor Series tag team match, what did it feature?
Probably Triple H versus Goldberg. Some weird match. Who else was the champion at that time? So 2002. Hold on. Let me way back it. 2002. So that was 18 years ago. Oh, who the hell was the champions? Triple H was almost certainly... No, I actually just said this, that Goldberg was the champion in 2002 at that time. He didn't lose it to Triple H at Armageddon. Who the hell was the WWE champion? Was that Lesnar? I don't even remember. Oh, fuck, because I was trying
I'm gonna give you a little bit of a hint. You were on the right track at the beginning there.
So probably like Triple H and Goldberg in like some stupid like 3 stages of hell or some shit, I'm betting.
Oh, can I take a stab?
Yep.
Was it Triple H versus Scott Steiner in an arm wrestling match?
Oh, no.
Raven?
Beef,
I know that happened at some point.
You were close. Triple H was the champion at this Survivor Series, but he did not leave the champion. And that's because this match this event, Survivor Series, featured the first ever Elimination Chamber.
Oh.
In which your boy, Shawn Michaels, won the big gold belt in that Elimination Chamber, defeating the last person, Triple H.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, we just did.
Sure we do. I think he means Stumpo El Chumpos. Yeah, let me take a look. I know for a fact we have at least one. Yes, sir. All right. So this is before Mania. This is April 2nd. Okay. On my last question, I know this for a fact. So on my last question, you were debating the participants and mentioned Adam Bomb facing Ludwig Borga at WrestleMania 10. That was not who he faced. Who was it and who won? I can tell you for a fact it was Earthquake, and Earthquake beat him in like 2 minutes.
Yep.
Nope. Sorry, Maniac, you didn't stand a chance this week.
Do we have another?
No, that. Yeah, man, that.
Because wasn't it? Because Adam Bomb was supposed to face him, but wasn't it because the other guy got injured or whatever? Earthquake filled in.
Yeah, Ludwig Borga either got he may have gotten fired just before it too, but yeah, he one way or another he wasn't available, so Earthquake filled in, and of course common sense dictates that the face goes over WrestleMania, especially if it's a big powerhouse face you're trying to get over. But instead, let's bring over this old guy and have him completely squash him. Oh wait, it's the same fucking playbook that they've been running for 30 years. How about that?
Unless you're heel Triple H and facing a face Booker T.
Well, one of the worst decisions in wrestling. Oh, that would be a good topic for another day. What are bad decisions in pro wrestling?
Bad decisions in wrestling history.
Dude, well, since with that Stump the Chumps was over and done before it even started, do we have another one in block, stock, and ready to go, or no?
We don't. Yeah, okay. Maniac just had the one sitting in there, so okay. I'm sure that he's like the rest of us wrestling fans. We're all kind of shell shocked right now with this whole no audience thing, and we're all kind of like half tuned out. And I'll tell you what, though, I am still watching NXT and AEW religiously, man, and they have not let me down. The TNT title tournament has been great so far, and the final 2 matches are next week in the quarterfinals. And the NXT just started the chase for the interim cruiserweight champion, which I'm dubbing the C1 because it's basically New Japan's G1, but or Best of Super Juniors with cruiserweights, and there's only 8 of them.
Quick question. Sorry, quick question. I saw that the one quarterfinals match is Lance Archer versus Colt Cabana. Who's the other?
Well, no, that was on that was last night. Archer beat him. So next week's matches are Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara, and Dustin. Don't call me Gold Dust Runnels versus Rose, I guess now. Versus somebody so inconsequential. I don't even bother remembering.
Is it
okay.
is it D&D guy?
No, it's not. It's not that. Kip Sabian. So I mean, it's clearly So and again, this is my one dig at AEW. Sometimes they are way too formulaic. Like they brought Lance Archer in by having Jake Roberts cut promos on Cody Rhodes. Lance Archer and Cody Rhodes are on opposite sides of the tournament. Oh, and who's Cody's brother? Goldust. He's on the same side of the tournament as Lance Archer. So, I mean, it's a little formulaic, but as long as the action is good, I don't think you need to have this stupid swerves all the time. So
who do you think's walking away with the TNT title?
Archer.
Dynamite. Archer,
100%. Because Cody's above the title, I think, and him being in the tournament was really a head scratcher to me, because Cody's a main event guy. With or without the world title, he is a main event player, and this is a mid-card title. So, and not to say that Archer's not a main event guy, but this is their way of putting a rocket on his back, because he's basically walking into the company, rolling through, leaving a pile of bodies in his trail, and coming out with a championship. So that's okay. That's a good way to start him in. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense for Cody to win the title. So yeah, it's got to be Archer.
Real quick, and this doesn't have to be long drawn out. A simple yes or no suffices. Do you think that in AEW, do you think that Cody's ever going to hold a title, being that he can never challenge for the world title again? Although we know never say never, but do you think they'll ever put a title on Cody? Beef?
I don't.
Poot?
I
Not
don't.
a single
I don't,
title. Sorry.
Poot?
I don't think he needs it. I think maybe in a couple years. Cody is really good at telling long stories and long game, but he has a lot to focus on, literally. And I think he doesn't need a belt to justify his talent and his ability to tell a story. He doesn't need the drama of a belt. So, except for MJF's.
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean,
deep cut. Literally. I'm kind of with you on that.
I don't see the point in it, at least at this for the foreseeable future.
Right. What do you think, Ransom?
I think they will. I think you'll see a title on Cody one way or another before his time wrestling in AEW is up.
Okay. Yeah, I was just
he's too big of a star not to hold it.
That's what I like. I'm halfway there, but I kind of feel
Moving
like
on a prayer.
Yeah. Whoa. But I don't know. I think the other two Jamokes there are kind of right in the sense that he's bigger than the title. He, doesn't matter what he's doing. He comes out and he gets that same pop and everything with his entrance and all the pyro and smoke and everything in the world and fucking, rose petals at his feet because he's Cody. I don't know. Just that's it. But what else? I don't think we have anything else for tonight, do we?
I not particularly. You guys want to wrap this up? You want burrito time?
Mm-hmm.
Let's wrap this up in a burrito. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the P3 podcast. We appreciate it. We're going to be hopefully recording another episode of Breaking Kayfabe, so make sure you keep an eye on that. That is our non-wrestling centric podcast that we do on here. We talk everything from video games to dumb drunken stories to playing fun games like $1 Million Butt and talking about pretty much anything going on, current events, anything popular, whatever and what have you. So tune in for that. It's a bunch of laughs. And yeah, this is just such a weird time. It's still one of those things every once in a while that we just stop and we go, this is all really happening. This is real life, and it can feel weird because everyone's social distancing, but all that stuff. Thank you very much to our wonderful sponsors. First off, Mr. Tiger,
Uppercut,
Bomb Tom, and his page Casual Gaming Dad over on Facebook, also streaming on YouTube and Twitch. Make sure you check him out. Absolutely entertaining. Tom, when are we going to get that Final Fantasy VII noise?
Whenever UPS quits dicking around my GameStop store and actually says when they're going to ship it, because it's currently in transit. So,
you never trust Brown. Always go with FedEx or United States Postal Service. Just saying, UPS sucks. Bye, dick. Anyway, so thank you very much to Tom. Make sure to check out his streams. They're absolutely entertaining. Go on over to Gould Gaming and check out his merchandise as well. There will be a link in the description, and you can also get your very own, very certified, very official Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast t-shirt in his section of the store as well. So thank you to Casual Gaming Dad, Mr. Tiger Bomb Tom, and Gould Gaming for letting us have our t-shirt on there. We really appreciate it. Also, thank you to Sean Tischler and his work with IWC. We're very disappointed that what was it going to be called, Beef? Caged
Combat 4.
Caged Combat 4 in Clearfield is not going down on Pootmas Eve. We're very, very sad about that. But, it is what it is. We got to adapt with the times. We just hope that all the talent that was going to be working there and all the indie talent and professional talent on the level of AEW and WWE are being safe and taken care of. Also, support your local indie wrestlers. Support your local events when they come back around. Again, here in PA, we have a lot of really good ones. Also, to support wrestlers right now, go buy their merch. If you've been kicking it around, buy especially indie wrestlers merch. They could really, I'm sure, use the income right now, just like a lot of people. For Mr. Tiger Bomb Tom, Mr. Beef the Legend, the greatest and best damn advocate that any champion could have, Alec Ransom, and myself, your reigning, defending, undisputed, Cruiserweight champion of the P3 podcast, Poot the Bard. Baby, have yourselves a safe evening and social distance yourselves, you bitches. No stinger?
Idiot.